Good afternoon everyone. Today I am going to discuss about the computer organization subject unit 4. Coming to the topic auxiliary memory. Today I am going to discuss about the auxiliary memory. So this is the secondary storage, and in the before video class we have discussed about the memory hierarchy and RAM and ROM chips, and this is the diagrams of this ROM chip, and this is the memory address map and memory connection to CPU, and up to here we have discussed in the previous video class. Now I am going to discussing about the auxiliary memory. So coming to the auxiliary memory. So what is mean by auxiliary memory? So it is a storage structure. Auxiliary memory is a storage structure. So the most common auxiliary memory device, most common auxiliary memory device used in the computer system. So in the computer system we are going to use the auxiliary memory. Okay, so this is one device in the computer system. We are going to use the auxiliary memory device. So we can say that is a magnetic disks and magnetic tapes. In the first video class we had this diagram. So in the diagram having the auxiliary memory, so in that auxiliary memory we having the magnetic disk and magnetic tapes. The most important characteristics of any device, the most important characteristics of any device and its access mode, access time, transfer data, capacity and cost. So we have, these are the characteristics of the devices. So what is mean by auxiliary memory ma? The auxiliary memory device is available used in the computer system. So in this we are having the magnetic tapes and magnetic disks. Okay, so these magnetic tapes and magnetic disks has some characteristics. So that is called access mode, access time, transfer data, capacity and cost. So these are the characteristics of the devices. The average time required to reach, a storage location in memory and obtain its content is called the access time. Okay, so what is mean that access time? Here we are having the access mode and access time. So what is mean by access time? The access time is nothing but whatever the average time required to reach a storage location. So in the memory is the storage location. So in order to we have to reach to the storage location, we having the average time. The average time is required to reach the storage location in the memory. Okay, so the content is called the access time and the obtain its content is called the access time. So in disk and tapes, the access time consists of seek time. So seek time. So what we are saying there? So in a disk or in a magnetic disk or magnetic tapes. So the access time consists of a seek time required to position the read write head to the location. And a transfer time required to transfer data to or from the device. So because the seek time is usually much longer than the transfer time, auxiliary storage is organized in records or blocks. So this is the diagram of magnetic disk here we are having. So this is the record, read and write head. Okay, so in this a record is a specified number of characters or words. A record is specified number of characters or words. Reading or writing is always done on entire records. Reading and writing is done on entire records. Transfer rate is number of character or words that the device can be transferred for second after it has been positioned at the beginning of the record. Okay, so the recording surface rotates in at uniform speed and is not started or stopped during access operations. Bits are recorded as magnetic spots. On the surface as it passes to stationary mechanism is called write and read. Write head is called write head. Okay, so what are that? The bits are The bits are recorded as magnetic spots on the surface of its possess a stationary mechanism called a write head. So stored bits are detected. So whatever the bits are we are storing, that storing bits are detected by changing in magnetic field product produced by the record spot on the surface as it passes through the read head, So we are having the write head and read head. So in this diagram I having the square box here. So this is the read or write head. So read head means what? The bits we are going to record as a magnetic spot on the surface of its possess in a stationary mechanism is called the write head. So detecting by changing the magnetic field produced by the record spot on the surface as it passes through the read head. So this is called the read and write head. Okay, so in this magnetic disk, so here, so bits are stored here. Bits are stored in magnetized surface. Bits are stored in magnetized surface. So bits are stored in magnetized surface in spots along concentric circles called tracks. So here we are having the circles. In this diagram I am having the circles. This is the sector. So I am having the lines between the circle. That gap between that lines is called sector. This is circles is the tracks. Okay. So this rectangle square shape is called the read and write head. So this what we are saying that, so the bits are stored in the magnetic surface. So what are bits? Whatever the bits we are having, that bits are stored in the magnetic surface in the spots along the concentric circle called the tracks. This is concentric circles is called the tracks. We called as a tracks. The tracks commonly divided into sections. So this track is divided into sections. So that section is called the sector. Each section is called the sector. In the most systems, minimum quality of information which can be transferred in a sector. So it means what? In the most systems, so most of the systems, so minimum quality of information, the quality of information is which can be transferred in a sector. So in these sectors the quality of information is stored. Okay, the track address bits, these track address bits are used to move the head into the specified track position before reading and writing, reading or writing. So after the read or write heads are positioned in a specified track, the system has to wait until the rotating disc reaches the specified sector under the read and write head. Okay. So the information transfer is very fast once the beginning of the sector has been reached. Disk may be multiple heads and simultaneous transfer of bits from several tracks at the same time. If the bits are recorded with equal density, some tracks some tracks will contain more recorded bits than other. To make all records in sector of all lengths, some disk uses a variable recording density with higher density on tracks nearer the center than on tracks near the circumference. So here the magnetic disc are permanently attached to unit assemble and cannot be removed by the occasional user called hard disk. A disk drive with a removable disk is called a floppy disk. So this disk used with a floppy disk drive or small removable disk made of plastic coated with magnetic recording material. Okay, so this is called the magnetic discs. Next, coming to magnetic tapes. What is mean by magnetic tape? So coming to this is the magnetic tape. Okay, a magnetic tape transport. A magnetic tape transport consists of electrical, mechanical, and electronic components to provide the parts and control mechanism for a magnetic tape unit. So a tape itself is a strip of plastic coated with a magnetic recording medium for 9 bits are recorded. Okay, 9 bits are recorded simultaneously to form a character together with a parity bit. So read and write. So read and write heads. Read and write heads. Heads are mounted one in each track so that data can be recorded and read as a sequence of characters. So magnetic tape units can be stopped, started to more forwarded or in reverse or can be rewounded. So we having the this is called the magnetic tapes. Next, coming to RAID, redundancy array of independent, redundancy array of independent, okay, disk, independent disk. So this is an additional disk which can improve the system performance. So this RAID, why we are using this RAID? This is additional disk which is used to improve the system performance. Okay, so to improve the system performance we are going to use the RAID. So RAID means redundancy array of independent disk. So in RAID we use an array. In RAID we use in RAID we use an array of disks. We use array of disk. So these disks can operate independently. These disks can be operate independently. So we having the in RAID. In the RAID we are going to use an array of disk. So this disk operate independently. So multiple input output request can be handled in parallel if the requested data is distributed across multiple. So in this we having some benefits. So RAID technology prevents prevents data loss due to disk failure. So RAID technology prevents data loss due to disk failure. RAID technology can be implemented in hardware or software. In this having some applications that servers make use of RAID technology. Servers make use of RAID technology. So RAID levels, we are having some RAID levels in this. So here RAID levels, so that is RAID 0, RAID 1, RAID 2, RAID 3, RAID 4, RAID 5, RAID 6. So this is the number of RAID levels we are having. So we are having some common characteristics in this. A set of physical disk drives. We have the set of physical disk drives, and the operating system views these separating disk as a single logical disk. Okay, single logical disk. Redundant disk capacity is used to store parity information, which can help in recovering data in case of disk failure. Okay, so this is the common characteristics for the RAID levels. Okay, now I am coming to the RAID level 0. So what is mean by RAID level 0? So if it divides data into block units, it divides data into units. So it divides data into block units and writes them across a number of disks. So this is called a data stripping. This is called a data stripping. So there is no parity checking of data. There is no parity checking of data. So if one drive gets corrupted, then all the data would be lost. So if any of that drive gets corrupted, remaining data also lost. So thus RAID 0 does not support data recovery. So RAID 0 level does not support the data recovery. So advantages is it has increasing the speed is very increased, implementation is easy, no overhead of parity calculation. So these are the advantages of the RAID level 0. And next coming to RAID level 1. So what is mean by RAID level 1? So in the RAID level 1, this is the diagram of the RAID level 1. So in this we are having the disk 0 and disk 1. So okay, so this is the mirroring. So same data is placed on multiple disks. So we are having the multiple disk here. So same data is placed in the multiple disks. So it is also called a data mirroring. Okay, so a read request, request can be executed by either of the two disks So a write request means that both the disk must be updated. So this can be done in parallel way. So recovery from failure is simple. If one drive fails, we just have to access the data from the second drive. So write 1 is used to store the system software. So we have some disadvantages in the write level 1. So that is data is duplicated, storage cost increases. Okay, so this is the disadvantages of the write level 1. So next, coming to write level 2. So what is the use of write level 2? So this is in write level 2 in write level 2 mechanism, all disk participates, all the disks participates in the execution of every input output request. So data stripping is used. So error connecting code is also calculated and stored with the data. So not implemented in practice due to high cost and overheads. Okay, so this is the write level 2. Okay, this, we can say it is a error correcting code. It is a error correcting code. Okay, next error correcting code. So next, coming to write level 3. So what is mean by write level 3? So in the write level 3, data is divided into byte. So in write level, data is divided into byte unit and written across multiple disk drives. Okay, so parity information is stored for each disk section and written to the dedicated parity drive. So thus the disk can be accessed in parallel. So disks can be accessed in parallel. Data can be transmitted in bulk. So high speed data transmission is possible. In this case, drive failure, the parity drive is accessed and data is reconstructed from the remaining devices. So this is called the parity bit, write level 3. Okay. Next, coming to write level 4. So data stripping size is large and parity bit are stored in the corresponding strip on the parity disk. For each read or write operations, parity bits are checked for data reliability. This is called the parity bit block level. So we can say it is a write level 4. Next, write level 5. So in the write level 5, data bits are organized in a similar fashion to write level 4. The difference is that write level 5 distributes the parity strips across all the disks. So this is called the distributed parity, and we can say it is a write level 5. So this is the write level writes. Okay, redundancy. Redundancy array of independent. Okay, right. Next, coming to associate memory. So what is mean by associate memory? The time required to find. So this is the block diagram of the associative memory. So the time required. So the time required to find an item stored in memory can be reduced. Consider if stored data can be identified for access by content of data itself rather than by an address. A memory unit accessed by its content is called associative memory or content addressable memory. Associative memory or content addressable memory, CAM. Okay, content accessible memory. In shortcut, we can say CAM. So in this diagram, we are having the middle downside, that is associated memory, array and logic. So the associative memory is more expansive than RAM. So this memory is compared to the RAM, it is more expansive, and because each cell must have storage capacity. Each cell must have the storage capacity. Associate memories are used in applications where the search time is very critical and must be very short. And we are having the hardware organizations. In this, we are having the hardware organizations. So this is the, I told that this is the block diagram of the associative memory. So in this associative memory, it consists of memory array, Okay, it's consists of memory array and logic form, associative memory array and logic form, and words, m words and n bits per word in this having. Okay, the next we are having the argument register A and key register K, each have n bits, one for each bit of a word. The matches register M has m bits for one for each memory word. So each word in memory is compared. Each word in the memory is compared in parallel with the content of the argument register. So the words that match the bits of the argument register set a corresponding bits in a match register. After matching process, those bits in a register that have been set indicate the fact that their corresponding word has been matched. The key register provides a mask for choosing a particular field or key in an argument word. The entire argument is compared with each memory word. If the key register contains all ones, otherwise only those bits in an argument that have ones in their corresponding position of the key register are compared. Okay, for example, so I am providing A as a 101, okay, and 4100, okay, and K is equal to, so A means what here? So A means in this diagram we can say argument register. So see this, A is the argument register, K is the key register, word 1 and word 2. Word 1 and word 2 means this is associative memory, this is word 1 and word 2. Okay, so I am providing the values 101 and 4 ones 00 for A. For K I am providing triple ones, all zeros. For word 1 I am providing 100, 4 ones 00, no match. Okay, 101. So word 2 is match with the matches. So only the three leftmost bits of A, only the three leftmost bits of A are compared with the memory words. Okay, memory words, because K has ones in 3 positions. Okay, so word 2 matches the unmasked argument field because the 3 leftmost bits of the argument and word are equal. And the cells in the memory array, are marked by the letter C with 2 subjects, but with 2 subscripts. The first subscripts gives the word. The first subscripts give the word number, and second specifies the bit position in the word. Okay, so in the word I have the example here, associative memory, m word and n cells per second. So in these cells I have Cij in the cell for bit j in the word I, a bit aj in the argument register, aj in the argument register is compared with all the bits in the column j of an array provided that kj is equal to 1. This is done for all the columns j is equal to 1 to so on n. If a match occurs between all the unmasked bits of the arguments and the bits in the word I, the corresponding bit m I in the match register is set to 1. So if one or more unmasked bits of the argument and the word don't match, mi is clear to 0. Okay, is clear to 0. So this is the associative memory of m word and n cells per word. So next having the one cell of associative memory. So in this diagram we consider a flip-flop storage. Elements Fij, f of ij, and circuits are reading writing and matching the cells, the input bit is transferred into the storage cell during a write operation. So the bit is stored is a read out during read operation. The match logic compares the content of the storage cell with the corresponding unmasked bit argument and provides an output for decision logic that sets the bit in mi. Okay, so this is the match logic. I have the formula here. M of I is equal to sigma of n j is equal to 1 aj fij plus aj complement f complement ij plus k complement j. So this is the equation we are having. So in this match logic, the match logic for each word can be derived from the comparison algorithms for two binary numbers. So first we neglect the key bits and compare the arguments in a if aj is equal to fij for j is equal to 1 to so on n. So the two bits are equal if they are both 1 or both 0. The equality of two bits can be expressed logically by the Boolean functions. So xj is equal to aj fij plus a complement j fi j complement. Okay, so where xj is equal to 1 if the pair of bits in position j are equal, if xj is equal to 0, otherwise for a word I to be equal to argument in a, we must have all xj variable equal to 1. This is the condition for setting the corresponding match bit mi to 1. The Boolean functions for this condition is mi is equal to x1, x2, x3, so on n. So and constitutes the end operations of all the pairs of matched bits in the word. So we know to include the key bit kj in the comparison logic. So if kj is equal to 0, the corresponding bits of aj and fij need no comparison. So if kj is equal to 1, they must be compared. The requirement is achieved by ORing each term with kj complement. So xj plus kj complement is equal to xj if kj is equal to 1. If it is equal to 1, if kj equal to 0. So where kj is equal to 1, we have kj complement equal to 0, xj plus 0 is equal to xj. Kj is equal to 0, we have kj complement is equal to 1 and xj plus 1 is equal to 1. So this is the formula we are having. This is the match logic. This is the end of the formula we are having. So next coming to, this is the match logic. Okay, so this is the match logic for one word of associative memory. Okay, note that here mi will be logic 1 if match occurs and 0 is if no match occurs. So read operation. So we are having the read operation here. So read operation, if more than one word in memory matches the unmasked arguments field, all the matched words we will have ones in the corresponding bit position of the match register. It is then necessary to scan the bits of match register one at a time. So the match words are read in sequence by applying the read signals to each word line whose corresponding mi bit is a 1. So write operation. So up to this is the read operation. Now I am talking about the write operation. If unwanted words have to be deleted and new words are inserted one at a time, there is need a special register to distinguish between active and inactive words. This register, sometimes called a tag register, would have a many bits as there are words in memory. For every active word stored in the memory, the corresponding bit in tag register is set to 1. So a word is deleted from memory by clearing its tag bit to 0. If the tag register is clear to 0, then it is used to specify an empty location. So this is called the write operation. So up to here we discussed about the so write and read operations in the logic match, okay, match logic. So this is the topic of hardware this is the topic of associate memory. So in the next class we will discuss about the cache memory and associative mapping. In this we having three types: direct mapping and set access associative mapping, virtual memory, and these are the address associative memory page table and memory management hardware. So these are the different topics we will discuss in the next class. Thank you for listening.